Howdy and hello everyone, I'm 5008 Creations, and you are the viewer. Today, I will be looking over the downfall of the Sunset Limited, America's oldest train to hold a name, and see how it became the underdog of Amtrak routes. So, let's get started. The Sunset Limited started with the start of the Southern Pacific. The Southern Pacific Railroad was a product of the Big Four of California: Leland Stanford, Collis P. Huntington, Mark Hopkins, and Charles Crooker. After their many other ventures around California in the railroad terms, they would take on what would be a transcontinental route stretching from Los Angeles to New Orleans, dubbed the Sunset Route, with a brand new train being dubbed the Sunset Limited. The new Southern Pacific Railroad would have Stanford, Huntington, and Crooker all serve as presidents of the Southern Pacific in a continuous period from 1868 to 1900. The Southern Pacific was based in California, but it stretched in all directions with many premier routes, such as the Coast Daylight in California, and was a partner with the Union Pacific in the city of San Francisco via the Overland Route. The Sunset Limited, however, was Southern Pacific's premier train. The Sunset Limited started in November of 1894 and initially traveled from New Orleans to San Francisco via Los Angeles. The Sunset Route, which the Sunset Limited ran on, was one of three gateway routes, the other two of which embarked from Chicago and St. Louis. However, the Sunset Route had two advantages over the other routes. It was an all-weather, year-round route that did not face the crippling snows of Wasatch or the Sierra Mountain Ranges to reach the Pacific coast. Additionally, the other two routes had to climb the Front Range of the Rockies. Sunset Limited service was started before the Panama Canal, leading to it being a great way to get from the southeastern areas of the United States to the West Coast in a matter of days instead of weeks. The Sunset Limited was an all-Pullman train with no coaches, just sleeper cars. The cars all had six-wheel trucks and a dark olive green paint with black roofs and trucks. The Sunset Limited clocked in at 71 hours and 40 minutes between New Orleans and San Francisco in 1926, with an eventual expansion to Jacksonville, Florida. In the 60s, however, the Southern Pacific began pulling back on passenger service, with car and air travel becoming serious competitors that the Southern Pacific couldn't keep up with. And the Sunset Limited suffered embarrassing downgrades to as far as a locomotive, coach, and automat food service car. However, in 1971, Amtrak was established and took up the Sunset Limited. After Amtrak discontinued two routes in the southeastern U.S., this allowed Amtrak to extend the Sunset Limited to Miami, Florida to replace what was originally served by these two routes. But, due to schedule unreliability later on, the eastern terminus was reduced to Sanford, Florida, and the train would terminate westbound at Orlando. However, in 1993, the Sunset Limited would face a horrific tragedy, and this would begin the Sunset Limited's true downfall. On September 22, 1993, Train 2, bound for Miami, would fall into the water near Mobile, Alabama. 3 locomotives and 8 coach cars fell into the river, with passengers being exposed to engine fuel, the deep waters, and the various animals living in said waters. This accident ended with a total of 47 casualties, becoming the deadliest passenger rail accident in U.S. history. And in 1995, as if the Sunset Limited hadn't got enough, there was another accident done by saboteurs who removed 29 spikes from a section of track and short-circuited the signal system to conceal the sabotage. The attack killed one person and injured dozens of others, the crime of which still remains unsolved. After these incidents, however, the ridership of the Sunset Limited remained consistent. However, this didn't mean good, as the ridership of the Sunset Limited was really bad, from around 90 to 100,000 riders per year. For comparison, the Northeast Corridor ranges from about 9 million to 11 million riders per year, and this wasn't helped by Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The hurricane damaged the track east of San Antonio, leading to the line having to terminate there. However, in October 2005, the line was restored between San Antonio and New Orleans. However, even though the tracks were repaired by CSX in 2006, the line has still not resumed service between New Orleans and anywhere east. The Sunset Limited also had adopted a tri-weekly schedule, with the train only departing New Orleans and LA on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. This has all culminated into the horrible state the Sunset Limited is in currently, with it having reduced service and it being treated like the stepchild of Amtrak routes, with there being many years where it was listed as the least profitable Amtrak route with the lowest ridership. However, thankfully, there are a few improvements planned for the Sunset Limited that would bring it at least up to the standards with the Southwest Chief, the Coast Starlight, the California Zephyr, and the Empire Builder. The first of these is technically bringing back service to Florida. However, these plans never really got anywhere for the longest time. There were plans in 2006, the mid-2010s. However, eventually it was decided that instead of just expanding the Sunset Limited back to Orlando, Amtrak decided it would be a better idea to create an entirely new service, called the Amtrak Mardi Gras service, running the former route. However, as of February 2024, the Mobile station still hasn't reached a final design agreement, so the service is still on hold. Another major talk was to bring the Sunset Limited to daily service, with people saying that it would double current ridership levels. At the moment, Amtrak has applied for a grant to expand service. However, as of February 2024, nothing has happened yet. And with that is all that has to be said about the unfortunate story of the Sunset Limited. According to Amtrak's ridership levels in 2023, the Sunset Limited places third to last in ridership at a measly 77,000. While improvements are possible, chances are without radical changes, this route will continue to tell a tragic tale of starting as a pristine way of getting from coast to coast to a route with the worst passenger rail accident in the United States and being the runt of the organization it resides under. And there you have it, another video essay. This one has a bit of a darker tone and a lot more of a sadder tone than the last one. But from what I've seen, this is a story that isn't the most well shared, and maybe more people will start to get an appreciation for this route more, because with one change in management, this route will most likely be gone in a heartbeat. So, without much more to say, I was 5008 Creations, you were the viewer, and I'll see you in the future. Goodbye.